What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Truth Juice podcast, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, viewing, sharing, and subscribing. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Rudy, and I'm the host of the podcast, and I'm on my way to become the A31's #1 podcast, guys. As you guys can see, look at this table full of hats, man. This is insane, dude. I have in front of me 3 guests, guys, members of WWVSE. This community, guys, this is so crazy. This last episode, if you guys watched it, I had Diego and Jovany on, and they kind of gave us a little intro to it, but now we're going in deep, man. There was a lot of love and support within the community. I got a lot of good feedback on that episode. I have a very special guest, man. Everyone, bro, a lot of people were requesting him. I'd like to introduce, or I'll let him introduce himself.
Yo, it's Baby Lungs 420, Bobby J, nothing much. Here I am.
I'm Diego.
And I'm Jovany once again. Thank you for coming back.
As you guys can see, man, we're kind of far from each other because this whole COVID, man, it's crazy, huh? Yeah. This is crazy, man. This lockdown sucks. But all right, guys. So you guys can see all these hats in front of us right now. I see a lot of hats, honestly. Well, it's a mix of all your guys', right?
Yeah.
Bro, how much do you think is on this table right now?
Oh.
On the table, just
Just the table, bro.
I don't know, like 1,200, 1,500.
Damn, bro.
More.
Definitely more.
I don't know.
Bro, I'm gonna point out like 2 hats, bro, and tell me más o menos, all right? What's up with the LA Kings right there, dude? How much?
Damn, that one's pretty new. I'd say like a good $350 minimum, 5 bills.
For that hat?
Yeah.
What about that Raiders one?
This Raiders one, I got a lot of. Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy, man. Okay. So, as you guys see, isn't that insane, dude? That's crazy, man. So, let's get into it, dude. Baby Lungs, I got a couple questions for you, man. You guys can't see this, but there's 2 bins under the table right now, man. I'm talking about, like, some crazy hats, dude. Like, when they told me you had the best collection, and there's some on the table over there on the counter, bro, this is insane. I'm quite amazed, honestly. But, bro, how long did it take you to get all these hats? How long have you been, what would you say, like thrifting them or?
I been in this game. Got into the game like at 15. Doesn't mean I had my first hat at 15. And I'm like 22, 7 years in the game, but not fully 7 years. I feel like a good 4 or 5 years of just collecting hats and cashing out.
I was gonna say, that's crazy, man. But like those 7 years, man, have you taken breaks or have you just been on it the whole time?
I've taken breaks. I was lost myself in college, focused on that. I was also like 420 vibing, just not really worried about anything else, just really just trying to get super lit. And that's about it, you know. And then eventually like something brought me back into the game, and I was like, dude, I need to like keep the momentum going, because I was always going MIA, deleting my accounts. I was always like never trying to expose myself out there.
Damn. That's crazy, man. You do have a crazy collection, bro. But real quick, all you guys are homies. All you guys know each other. Obviously, you're my cousin, man. I've seen you, man. But how'd you guys meet, dude? Did you guys meet with this whole? Because you guys are both in your crew, aren't?
Yeah. So basically, from what I remember, if I'm not mistaken, you hit me up, and we kind of knew each other from Facebook days because we have the same birthday, June 14th. So if you guys want to send some hats on our birthdays, I'll drop the Addy. But yeah, so we basically were talking, and like we knew who we were, same town and everything. And then I saw, what hat was it that you came up on? Remember when we met up at Romer Park and I traded you like 7 hats for 1 hat? And that's how our friendship built up. And I mean, you see us now years later, and here we are, you know, like he comes to my birthday parties, you know, like it's crazy, you know, it's like a family. So yep.
That's what I like about your guys' little community, bro, because like I don't know, usually people when they'll kind of like hate on each other, but I see like that's what I meant, like in this whole vintage thing, you guys always compliment each other in your guys' collections and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
So take me back like to like 2013, 2012.
When you met him?
Well, no, when you first started. What was it like for you? Like what was it like for you? When was your first hat that like really sparked it off? Yeah, I want to know.
All right. For me, it started like 15, 16. Everyone was getting into Mitchell and S. I saw Jovany doing crate videos and like having hats like Mitchell and S, like, and And I was always like, damn, dude, I just want a snapback. And I was like,
2015?
I can't afford a $30 hat. I was 15 and 16. Bro.
But that was like in 2013, 20.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I was like, damn, I can't afford a like $30 hat. And I somehow like YouTube came on and I saw like Always Fresh Apparel and Professor Snaps. And I was just like, you can really find hats for like $2 at the Goodwill. And I was like, and they're like fit better because I have a small head. And they fit better and they're worth a little more. And I was just like, damn. So I just started thrifting. Didn't find anything much for like a couple months, but I just kept consistently going. And the first hat I ever found was an Eagles twill script. It was lime green. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it was just like that's what kind of started it. And that's kind of like Johnny was hitting me up like, yo, let me get this, let me get that. And I was like, oh, see, like a trade. And then like eventually it was just like, I was like, damn, I really want those Raider hats. And like at the time it was really pricey. And then everything kind of started falling off and I started cashing out real hard.
That was a question I had, bro. Like, I see you have all these hats, and you said you didn't have the funds back then, dude. But damn, bro, look at you now, dude. Isn't that crazy, dude?
Yeah, it's crazy because I didn't have the funds, and then once people started like selling off their collection, I was working at the time, scraping some money. I was like, bro, I'm gonna just drop this investment. I'm gonna do it.
Because it is an investment, bro. Like, I'm pretty sure people might think you're crazy for buying old hats and stuff, you know. But
Bro,
little do they know, bro, that hat's like $500.
yeah,
dude.
dude,
That's crazy.
It's pretty
man.
wild. Like I never really thought like I couldn't afford a $30 hat. Now I'm dropping like $150 on a hat, like, and like wearing a shirt that has rips and holes on it, but it's from like '90s, the '80s, and like some people are like, damn, this guy dressed like a homeless man, but little do they know. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy, man. Like, what? Well, you said you were thrift shopping and going all these places, bro. What's the best or the most like rarest item you found? Shirt, hat, whatever you wanna.
I feel like at the Santa Cruz flea market is where you would come up the most, like, because you never know what's going to be there on the weekend. And, like, the Goodwills don't really have crazy hat stocks in. And you just got to be patient because you'll get a hat here and there. But it was usually flea markets, and then I started finding out that my man Jovany put me, like, yo, sniping online is where it's at.
Snipey online?
Yeah, like, sniping. Like,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't be at all the thrift stores around the world. And there's other kids doing that, and they just want the quick cash. But, like, was there a first hat that you really found that was like, oh, dang?
A lot of you watching this probably know Jimmy. He actually owns the first hat I ever found at a thrift. He owns Mighty Ducks Logo 7 wraparound. And I actually found that downtown at the Salvation Army here. I found it for $2. Found it for $2, and I remember going over to the crate, and they tried to buy it off me, but I was just like, nah, like, I can't, like, this is, like, my first hat, and I kept it in my collection for years and years, and probably, like, 2 years ago, I sold it to Jimmy, but he told me, like, basically, was like, oh, I love this hat, if I keep it, like, if I want to ever let it go, like, it's going back to you, you know?
Talking about Jimmy?
Yeah. And Jimmy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
no way.
so till this day, he still has it, and
I think I've seen it
yeah,
actually. Yeah.
It's like white with like purple.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I've seen
and
it.
It just has a logo. But yeah, that was basically the first hat that I found. You can say that just kind of, because like I said, I would go to the crate and they had stock in there. They had vintage hats, right? So I'd walk in and I'd be like, oh, you know what? Like, I could just go and buy them off them, you know, for $40, $50, some of them even $100. But it's kind of like Diego and I have had these conversations a lot, where it's just kind of, yeah, you can have a Raiders blockhead, right? And it's amazing. You have a Raiders blockhead. But finding that item at a thrift and paying little to nothing for it just makes it that much better. And it's not talking down on people who cash out, because like we were saying, everybody cashes out.
Yeah.
Everybody cashes out.
Okay.
It's like you kind of have to at some point, you know? Like if you want your collection to actually grow, like, I'm not saying it's impossible, but for you to find all these hats just thrifting, it's kind of hard for you personally to do it, because like you said, it's worldwide. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of, some people do the dirty work for you, you know? Some people go to the bins or to the thrifts or to the flea markets and they find the stuff for you, and then you have to pay up a little for it, but it's worth it for you because it's a piece that you personally.
No, yeah, you gotta
want,
invest in it.
you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you gotta invest in it one way or another. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Like we're just talking about that too because we just kind of be into this whole thing where even with T-shirts, you know, it turned. It's so crazy how vintage turned. It turned. I guess you can say mainstream.
Popular?
Recently. It was popular. A lot of people were into it, and it's just kind of like it's the thing now, you know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think us thinking like 2012 era and stuff, and we're like, damn, like it's been a thing, you know. Like people didn't know about snapbacks. People would probably see me rocking or any of us rocking one of these hats in 2013, 2014, and they'd be like, bro, that's
This was
whack. Or
poor.
like, it's fake. You know,
Yeah.
it's not Michelin. That's
No, yeah, it's not
New
what
Era,
was in. I get it. I
right?
feel you. Yeah.
So, but for us, it'd be like, whatever. You know, people worldwide are just cashing out now.
Okay.
Like people know what stuff's worth, and like we were talking about last podcast too. There's always gonna be people that lowball you.
Yeah.
You know? That's a must in the vintage game, but you just kind of have to have the patience with it and just like I said, don't be afraid to ask questions. Just ask the right questions
Okay.
because it is very insulting when we know that you know the price of something, and you're trying to throw us an offer of $50 for a $300 hat. You know.
Yeah. No, I
So
feel
it's
you.
just kind of like it's just like a, you know, that is how a lot of hard feelings get sent throughout the community.
Wait, I had a question, bro. I see a lot of Raiders hats. What's good with the Raiders hats? Are they're more money, they're more valuable, they're more rare? Fill me in, Diego. Let me know.
I'm not much of a Raider guy. I understand it's all about Raider hats and anything Raider related, like kind of like pops off in vintage hats, but they can talk about it.
What are you into? What like?
Me?
Yeah. I see your collection is different. They're all like I don't know much about hats, man, but I just see the same logo on all the side. Is that
I'm
something?
just low key about it. I appreciate all these hats, and most of them, the ones that I get, the ones that are like really hyped or the ones that go for a lot of cash. These guys usually get them off me. I just like what I like, and once I like a specific thing,
Okay.
I'm gonna keep.
You know what you want.
I know what I want pretty much.
Okay, you know what you're looking for and everything.
It started off with Jovany selling me. I don't even remember which one it was, but I remember having a Cowboys Anko Super Bowl hat, and it's just the Cowboys logo, the star, and then it had.
I think it was a black one.
It was
had the white one.
It was the black one.
You had the white
I got both off you.
Oh, okay.
I got both the black and the white one. So it started off with those two, and then I told that phone like, yo, like I want a Steelers one, and then I got a Steelers one, and then when I got those three, I didn't have a lot of them for a long time because I couldn't find them. Like no one had them.
Yeah.
And then and then for years I didn't collect them for a long time, and then recently I started seeing the Yankees ones pop up, and I was like mad into Yankees hats. Like I don't know why.
I got this from Diego, by the way. Shout out, Diego. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I just started collecting a bunch of different teams. They were going for like nothing in the beginning of the year, and then now everyone's like copping them and shit. And I'm kind of upset because I wanted to get them for cheaper.
Damn.
Even now, I know, but I don't know in depth of like why
The Raiders.
is it a staple in like vintage snapbacks? Like what makes you like go nuts over them?
Well, for me, I see it more like when some kid's selling a hat for like $50, $100. $50, $100 ain't gonna take me anywhere. I could drop that on a hat, and it'd be like a Raiders hat, and that shit's gonna last for me forever. Like, it's not gonna leave me, and it's like, money comes and goes, but like this hat, you never know when it's gonna pop up again. Like, especially with the Raiders, like, I've been a Raiders fan, but stopped watching their games when they kept losing and losing, and I was just like, whatever, and like, but for some reason everyone just loved the Raiders because it was the rap group, all the rappers wear them and stuff. But I never really like thought about it like that. I was just like, I enjoyed the Raiders, but didn't really like follow up with them in games and that. But like something about like the hats, like, whew, I can rock that, like that'd be sick. Like no one else has it, and at first people were like, it's kind of whack, or even like a beat up shirt, like that's kind of lame because people were just wearing, go to the mall, buy a $30 shirt, $30 hat. Bro, like people wanted to wear new stuff, and I was just like, for me, it was I kind of just like something about having vintage old clothes, kind of like, dude, that's kind of different, that's kind of cool. Like it kind of set me apart from other kids in school, because kids would be like, damn, that's kind of weird shirt, that's kind of whack, like it's faded, there's a hole in it, blah blah blah. But I always thought like, damn, there's so much history and love to it, like someone sweating on this shirt, someone.
So it's
like,
just nostalgic to you.
yeah, it was just kind of like, I don't know, made me feel kind of like young again, even though I'm still young. Kind of made me take me back to an era that I wasn't even born in, and it was just like kind of made me feel a part of history. And like this hat I'm wearing is like older than I am, and it's just like that's kind of cool to me. Like,
Bro, imagine who's been in that hat, dude. Probably some freaking famous person or something.
Yeah.
Who knows, dude?
Some
Like
bum.
that too, bro. That you're so right, dude. That hat probably holds some stories, man.
yeah, it just holds stories, and it's just like there's just I never really saw myself, because I couldn't afford new things, and like YouTube just changed my life. Like, oh dude, you can buy like cool clothes for the low, and then eventually like prices are just high up there, and you're just like, dude, like just seeing kids have other guys have these hats is like, dude, I gotta have one. And I was just like, I need to have it, and it was just an addiction. Like, I need to have it. It's like I'm gonna drop that money,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
For me, with Raider hats, it's kind of like I was talking earlier. It's just that whole. So we were talking about how when I used to rap back in the day, when I used
Oh,
to
hell yeah,
drop
hell yeah,
rap and
dude.
stuff. And
Go check them out on
for
YouTube.
me, no, don't do that. But for me, it was basically like me thinking about rap wise. Like my gap difference, like age wise, with them is like 5 years. You know, around there. So it's like a big thing. You know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whenever we just have different tastes of music, but I feel like with me, I'm not gonna say that when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, I grew up listening to NWA, because that's not true. I was listening to my mom play cumbias and
Oh, yeah.
fucking
Juan Gabriel and all that
Juan
stuff.
Gabriel and
Yeah,
all that stuff. Like,
yeah, I feel you.
you know, but middle school time and everything, you know, like elementary school, I would see one of my friends, actually, Sergio. I haven't actually talked to him in years. I don't even know what happened to him. But
Shout out Sergio.
it's crazy. He used to have a whole bunch of Tupac t-shirts. Tupac was like his idol. Like his whole room was just posters and posters of like
Pac?
Tupac, and he had a whole bunch of shirts. And thinking about it now, I'm like, damn, I wonder if any of those shirts that he used to have were like those rare ones, you know, like crazy rare shirts. I started getting into hip hop a lot, and then once I got into high school, I started kind of like searching far back into like the era of like where I was born, you know, like which was '92. So it was just kind of that whole Ice Cube, everything, and just looking back at those documentaries, everybody, whether you were a Raiders fan or not, like a lot of those documentaries came out from LA, and it was just everybody was wearing Raider hats. Everybody, just that shield, just that simplicity of that logo meant so much, to the point where even in middle school, I remember everybody was wearing Raider stuff. There were people that I knew that were Niner fans.
Wearing
and
Raider
and
stuff.
they were wearing like the JanSport. During that time, they brought out JanSport backpacks with NFL teams engraved on them.
Okay.
Everybody,
I remember that.
I even had one. I had a Raiders one. Everybody had a Raiders one, because it was just, you would go out wearing a plain white T-shirt or a plain black T-shirt, and you were wearing a black and white hat with just that simple logo on it, and it was like,
No,
it's as simple as it can get, but it looked so badass. Like, it looked so perfect. And for me, it kind of was like that. I looked at it back in the 90s in their videos. I thought about it back when I was in middle school, like years later, and people were still rocking that logo. And for me, it was just kind of like, dude, this logo's amazing. I'm not a Raiders fan at all. I don't really watch football much either, but I would consider myself a Steelers fan, and people always tell me like, oh, well, you don't even have a Steelers hat in your collection of hats. And I'm like, yeah, because what I like to wear is just, I don't know, like that logo for me was just something that meant so much. And it was, yeah, you can say that it was because of the money, because you can think about that with anything, you know, sneakers or anything. It could be like, oh, you know that this is worth something. Even if you don't like it, there's something that intrigues people to wanting stuff that is worth something, you know?
yeah.
And that's just, at least for me, that's just human nature, and it's just kind of like a thing that I'm always like, hey, you know what? Like, it just always caught my eye, and I always felt like I needed to have it. So, by the way, for everybody that's been hitting me up about my hats, whether they're for sale or not, most of those hats you see on my page are long gone. Even the recent ones, they sell quick. But yeah, most of my hats are now in Jose's collection, and I can guarantee you they're not going anywhere because I've even tried to get them back, and he's like, bro, these are these are staying for good. They're locked down. They're in the vault. Thank you guys for appreciating my hats and stuff, but like I said, I don't really have any of them anymore. I only like own a couple hats now, but
Bro, that's gonna be one of my questions. Like, with your guys' collection, I didn't know you got rid of all your hats.
the thing with vintage is that there was a while, like he was talking about earlier, where hats decreased in value all kinds. Back then, just because you had a vintage hat, you can get up to $60 for it. Now it's like you find a hat and you might not even get $5-10 for it. It just depending what hat it is and how sought after it is. I just felt like I had too many hats and I wasn't wearing them. And like I said, a lot of them went to him, and I liked it because I'd always see him wearing a different hat. I don't
know if you guys can tell, but he's been switching hats out throughout the podcast, man. I love that.
Basically, yeah, a lot of my hats just sold, and I made a good amount of money at the time for them. I got cashed out like top dollar for each one of my hats. Like I made sure that if I did let them go, it was gonna be for a price that was above what I wanted. Like it was something that was like, okay, there's no saying no to that number, So yeah, and like I said, a lot of them went to him, and with him, it's like I said, it's not once do I ever go like, damn, like, because I can look back at the piece and be like, dang, dude, like earlier, we were talking, and he was like, oh, you sold me both of those cowboy hats. I was like, I don't even remember, and stuff like that. And it's just cool to think back, because it's just more than just an object. It's a story behind it. It's like a cool story behind every single piece you own, and some of them might mean more than others. Some of them might not mean anything at all. But it could go from sniping, it can go from sniping something, from getting something dirt cheap, to something that you're like, oh, I've always wanted this hat in my collection. Now I have it. It's not going anywhere. Stuff like that. So.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of my question. Kind of answered it. It was just like, yo, what did you plan on doing with your collection? But you sold it. And Baby Lungs, bro, your collections. You said this isn't even half of it? Is this half of it? What'd you say?
This is not half of it.
No, not at all. Damn, man, that's crazy. Where's this all leading to, bro? Like, you have like 20 of the same hats. You probably have, you're all the freaking Infinity Stones, bro. Like you're keeping them for yourselves, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what's the end game, bro? What do you plan on doing with this collection, man?
Well, for me, I never even saw myself. Like, it used to be me looking at people like Jovany. He would go out his way and take nice pictures. Like, it was a cool hat, and then he would make it look cooler on the internet. And it was always like, dude, that's kind of cool. And then for me, like, once I started to like getting the rhythm how this game works, I'm just like, yo, I'm gonna kill it. Like, I don't want nobody else even having that hat. Like, I'm gonna take it off your collection, because I know money buys everything. Like, and it's just like, yo, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna be that kid that just has a bunch of hats and like don't really need them, but I want them. Like, so I just saw like, yo, I'm gonna be that guy with just multiples of the same hat, and it's like, damn, bro, like, how'd you do that? And I'm just like, just patience is key, like just waiting and waiting. It's like, because before I'd never even thought I would even have a Raiders hat. Like, now I see kids just popping on my DMs, like, dang, like how Jovany's saying, asking the right questions. And I used to be that kid, like, just showing love and asking those questions, like, how'd you do this? Yeah. And now I kind of see people, like, I don't know if they see me like a godfather or something.
Bro, they do. Trust me. Some people hit me up and were like, bro, Baby Lungs collection, this and that. Like, I haven't even met the dude, but this dude's a fucking... Yeah, man, I'm telling you, dude, it's crazy. Were you plan on selling all of them at once later in life, or what are you trying to do? Put it down as a down payment for your house, or what?
House, bro. I don't know. I just see myself, like Professor Snap said once, I'm going to be that old guy rocking vintage hats, and I'm going to see myself being that old guy rocking vintage hats. Like, because I go to the flea markets, and I hear, like, old guys, they selling their, like, T-shirts and the hats. Like, yeah, I have a bunch in storage and warehouse. But I don't really see myself ever going and selling them. Like, I just see them, like, whatever happens when I die, I don't know who's going to go to, but they're probably going to be dying with me or fucking bury you.
I say you make a will right now, bro.
Right now.
At least one of these hats.
It's just, I don't know. It's a crazy thing. I don't really see. I didn't know where this was going, but like now I kind of see like, damn, like a lot of people are just like, I got a lot of eyes on me now. Like,
not enough though. Not enough eyes. not enough.
No, bro, I'm telling you, a lot of people were. I'm telling you, he's like the number one requested guest, dude. Everyone's like, bro, you got to get his collection on there. You got to scope him out. Like, it's crazy, man, crazy. Man, Diego, yeah. What about you, Diego?
All right, can we talk about your Depop?
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to talk about your Depop.
All right, let's do it, man.
How did you get so big?
So this all started like I went to college, wasn't collecting. I was just getting super lit. I was on that 420 vibe, just like eating mushrooms in class and blah 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 blah. And something happened where I was just like wasn't digging my job, and I saw kids making money off clothes online. I was like, dude, I didn't know you can do that. Like, cause I always been collecting since high school. Even if it wasn't even hats, just like t-shirts, jackets, starter jackets, blah blah. But they were just sitting in my closet. And I saw kids making money, and I was just like, dude, I can do that, good money. And so I started just getting the bins, and like, I saw kids out there like selling shirts, and I was like, bro, like there's vintage shirts out there. I didn't even know anything about shirts, so I got into shirts. And right now, my Depop, like I sell clothes to pay for my addiction of snapbacks and other stuff. Like, so I started like just selling clothes online. I was like, oh dang, like, cause like how Jovany was saying, like thrifting and like vintage kind of became mainstream, and before that it was just kind of like it's just like a shirt, whatever, ripped hole, blah blah blah. Yeah. But I soon just like I asked Diego, like I kept seeing him posting, check out my Depop. I was like, yo, how does this work? Kind of broke it down to me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. So I just kept like hustling on that, like posting, going to find cool clothes, and I was like making money, and I was like, dude, you can really make money selling stuff online. Like, and like nowadays people want to be an entrepreneur and make money online, not go to work 9 to 5, and I was just like, dude, I can really make this thing happen. Like, people buy my clothes, and people want to look at my hats. They also want to buy my hats, but that's not going anywhere. So I just saw like I could really make a movement, like, and I also kind of want to like I like the idea of being able to recycle clothes, because a lot of new clothes, like I work at a print shop and we make new clothes, but then I see that shirt go to the thrift store like 2 weeks later, so it's kind of like more waste to the landfill, and I just like I can really like kind of I hope I can change people's perspective, like. We can always be recycling, using stuff, not just throw it away. So that's how I kind of saw it. I just kept grinding, and now I'm at like 16K followers, 1,035 sales.
16K followers, 681 reviews with 5 stars, 1,035 sold items.
Yeah, damn.
Often ships in one day.
So, yeah, I want to say something real quick.
I could never.
So, that is an example of what I was talking about last podcast, of how a $3 shirt
can buy you
a $300 hat. That's literally all of it in a nutshell right there. You buy stuff, you hustle, you sell the stuff you don't want, but people want, and you get what you want. It's just, like I said, it's not about who's better than who, it's just who's willing to put in that effort and time in it.
Yeah.
Because it's time consuming. Taking pictures, talking to customers, giving them extra pictures when they need it. It gets annoying sometimes, but you have but you have to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, look at him now. This is where it gets him. Yeah, for sure.
Look, just
bro. Yeah,
from what you can see, that's a lot
insane.
of it, like not only the love that he has for vintage, but it's just that's the hustle that like, you can't beat that. Like you're not, and you're doing it around people you love. You're doing it around people that are your friends, around stuff that you love to see. So it's just the crazy, like I don't know. It's more than just items to me, at least.
Wait, so Jovany, you sold your. I know you still sell shirts, right? Do you?
Oh no, I mean I still have hats. But it's just not like before. Like before, like I said, I feel like I was coming, like for example, like with Jose's collection, I don't see it as hoarding. I see it as an actual collection. But for me, I was buying the most random stuff just to have it, because I was like, it's vintage.
Someone might like it.
Like, it's just vintage. I'm just going to have it because it's vintage. To the point where I was like, bro, a lot of this stuff, I have to take it back to Goodwill.
Yeah.
I have to donate it back because I don't use any of it. I'm not going to get any money out of it, And like I said, there's something to it when you have so many years. For example, you've been saying that you've been in it for like 7 years now. you have an eye for it. You start to build up stuff that you even think about. Dang, 7 years ago, what if you were at the flea market looking for blockheads, back scripts, and you passed by a lot of like rap tees, and you didn't even know. And that was what now is worth like $300 a shirt and stuff too, you know. So like some of them go for a lot more, and it's just kind of like I don't know. It's just a crazy thing to think about, though. At least for me, it's just crazy to think how it's grown so much more, and that's what I like about WWVSE now too. That it does stand for Worldwide Vintage Snapback Exchange, but it's changed into so much more. There's people that are on there that started just like us, and they have stores. Like huge stores.
Yeah, bro, I was actually going to get into that, man. I was going to start asking you about that, man. Like, let's get into that, dude. I know you guys, these two, right? These two are like that the brand's name, logo, I guess, the hats. Yeah, that's sick, dude. So, like, Jovany, I know you've been in it a year, and obviously probably like, yeah. Oh, you just got in it?
Yeah, they kind of like reached out to me and like, yo, would you want to join the group? And I always kind of saw myself like, I don't really want to expose myself out there or be like anything, but I was like, this is like a nice group. Like they'd be humble people, like always showing love, and I was just like, let's get it going.
Okay, you brought up stores. Before round 2, for you guys, like what was like stores that you guys would look into? Like for me, it was the Crate, and then it was like F as in Frank, and it was whatever Taz Arnold had. Like for me, like the Don C Buck 50 hats and like Taz Arnold doing all his variations, like those are like the hats that I wanted to spend money on, but I couldn't at the time. But for you guys, like what were those stores? Or do you guys remember your favorite online like vintage store?
For me, it was always the Crate. It was a local store because I always saw him at the flea market. It was this one guy, I think his name was Brian. He was always there early in the morning. I always lived out of town, so I was like, damn. In order to like get these goodies, I have to like be committed. Wake up early, ask my mom for a ride, and she would go and take me, and I had to take some squirrel and like drop it, and always just like, cause we see each other at the flea market, and sometimes like, dang, like did I miss out? Like did this guy beat me? Like
to this day.
Yeah, to this day, it was like, should I even look? Like, do you have the goodies or like, what's up? And it was always the Crate. Like they always had a small selection of vintage, and I enjoyed going there because their store was like kind of homey. It was like there was a bunch of old school boombox going around, old school music playing. It was wood grain and everything. And I always saw myself like, dude, one day I'm going to have my own clothing store. And I was like...
Is that what the goal is, bro? You're trying to like...
Yeah, I guess that's kind of how my Depop was. Like, I saw myself like, dude, this could be my online store. Because nowadays, people don't want to pay...
Online.
Yeah, everything's online. People don't want to pay rent to a storefront and stuff. And kind of saw myself like, yo, like, I can attract traffic with these hats. Like, people like look at these hats. And then I can lead them to like, oh, I sell T-shirts.
Oh, okay.
Inside, stuff like that.
Bro, and about this, WWVSE, man, how do you become a member, bro? Like, do they reach out to you, or do they just keep to scout you guys, or what's going on?
So yeah, they definitely have an eye out on vintage. You know, they follow. With social media now, it's kind of easy for you to put yourself out there. So it's just kind of like, there's a lot of people that have been looking at them for a while, because I feel like when I started collecting, WWVSE was, and still is to me, like the prestigious, like, it's like, oh my, like these are like the top collectors in the world, And it's not bashing on anybody else or anything. It's just kind of like, for me, it's more like that's what everybody look up to. Everybody was like, yo, WWVSE, like, you're part of that? Like, that's in your bio on your Instagram? Like, that's basically having that blue check mark next to your
you're
name,
certified, man.
Like, you're certified here. And, so yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like for me, I remember talking to them and wanting to get in it. It took me years, and finally I was able to get on. And when I got on, I was like, oh my, like, this is insane, But at the same time, what they taught me is to keep myself humble.
Yeah, low key.
Not because you have that WWVSE on your bio means you're better than anybody else. It just basically gives people a a safe haven when they're trying to do business with you, because they know that you're legit. They know that you're known in the community.
Yeah, okay.
Somebody's loyal and stuff like that. And that goes back to kind of what you were saying about the stores. For me, one of the stores that basically started it for me, locally, it's the Crate.
Yeah.
Hands down, it's the Crate. No matter what, that goes down like locally. That's the store that got me in it locally. But online-wise, F as in Frank was always too expensive for me.
Fuck yeah.
It was always too expensive.
That's what it's called, F as in Frank?
F as in Frank, yeah,
Okay.
they're from Canada.
Okay.
And it was a store that, for me, it was like, dude, you guys have the grills. They had the pieces. They had the craziest pieces in the game.
They were the only ones that had the
Insane.
angles that I wanted.
They had like, you'd see this, and they'd have like 100 dead stock ones. But you'd go on there and it'd be like $350 for a hat, $450. And back then, being young, like, my paycheck for 2 weeks would come out enough for one of those hats, and it was just impossible for me to get a hat. You know, it was just something that wasn't realistic.
At the time, yeah.
And for me, if I'm talking about stores that actually got me loving it a lot, and it's crazy to say this because Aaron actually is part of WWVSE, is Soul Food SF. Soul Food SF had his YouTube videos, and he basically even selling off of there.
Yeah.
You'd comment and message him there, and you'd buy the stuff off there. He's a guy from San Francisco. I've actually met him a couple times. I actually saw him at the Santa Cruz Flea Market like a year or two ago. So yeah, his store was basically, he even, when he opened up his website, he had a Ballin' on a Budget play. He still does on his website. He has a little section called Ballin' on a Budget, which is basically, he put up heat for an affordable price.
Oh, okay.
So that was something that was a store that I've always been like, yo, you know, like, I don't care if I have to go on his website and pay. I could simply hit him up and be like, hey, I'll pay you this much on the low over here because I know you. But for him, it's kind of one of those stores that I don't mind paying up because it's a person that
He's doing good,
was
yeah.
a big influencer in my life, at least with vintage. He was the guy that I was waking up every Friday to that little like, you
Did
got
you?
soul, like the little
God.
little song,
Yeah.
and you were just like, oh, dude, and you just see the like the pieces on the ground, and he just like boom, 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 and you look at it now, and it's like it's stuff that he would have like Lithuania shirts that now like are super sought after, and back then I would see those videos and I'd be like, come on, dude, get to the hats, come on, get to the hats, come on, get to the hats, because they were always at the end, but I'd still want to watch his whole
Video.
show. And it was just every Friday, dude. It was just kind of like looking back at that. And like I said, he's part of WWVSE too. And he's out in SF. Or I actually think he said, I heard him on the live last weekend that he actually moved recently because of the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it has to go down as a website store, I guess you can say, the Soul Food SF is definitely,
Yeah.
he definitely,
Big influence.
yeah, huge influencer. He definitely is one of those like Professor Snaps and all
Yeah.
that, you know, like they were like those pioneers. And it's crazy because I actually was talking to one of the local plugs, which is OG Curtis Harris.
Oh,
Curtis. He's actually from Oakland, from Alameda, and he actually sells us a lot of our stuff too. And when I met him a few years back, he actually started talking to us about how he used to go and dig warehouses with Aaron from Soul Food SF when those videos were coming out. But same thing, he just would just kind of stock up the stuff. And then one day he just came out and was just like,
Fuck it.
boom. And it's just like, it blew my mind. Like, and I remember like, I remember seeing the transition from him becoming somebody that sold just at flea markets, just at events, to making a social media account and blowing up to what he is now. So
Dang.
shout out to Curtis too. He's definitely an OG. Before those YouTube videos and everything, he even has YouTube videos from back in the day of like restorations for hats. So it's just, he's definitely
My favorite.
like, for me at least, a pioneer in that. And even though I met him like when I was already knowledge and stuff of vintage, he definitely helped out a lot with like buying
He
stuff.
paved the way for you
Yeah.
guys, or what? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just those guys that just you look up to them. Even if you say, oh, I just woke up one day and like vintage, there's something that had to trigger something that makes you,
Yeah, definitely.
And for me, it was definitely those guys. Like, I was just, like I said, and then just looking back at, like, pictures of my dad, my uncle, our uncles, wearing, like, like, you probably looking back at, like, your dad's, like, pictures and stuff, and you're like, yo, dude, like, where's that hat at, Like, where's that jersey at? Like, where's that? I showed you the other day, my aunt from Mexico was wearing all leather starter jacket, like, crazy jacket, and I'm like,
what the hell's that?
well, I've never seen that. Like, and it's just, like I said, it's just something. But when it comes to stores, definitely like Curtis, Soul Food SF, all of them, and obviously like Professor Snap and all them, like putting up their stuff on PS1 George, from I think Arizona. I think all those guys. It's just kind of like just thinking back on it.
George.
Yeah, it's just kind of like PS on George or PS1 George, something like that. It's just Warren Snap. Also part of WWVSE.
Bro, is there any other people besides you, like locally in or besides like the people from Frisco?
Well, there's
like here in town or anything?
Oh, in town?
Because that one, someone reached out from Missouri, dude. That's what I'm saying. He told.
Yeah, no, I mean, Soul Food SF is from San Francisco.
We got Swagger.
Swagger, he's from Union City.
Hey, we're gonna start giving out shout outs real quick, guys. Listen up.
He was from, so he's from Salinas, but he's actually out in like the Bay Area now, I think.
Okay.
And Jay Rami.
Oh,
Jay
Rami, dude.
So Jay Rami is definitely.
Those kids were always.
He is definitely somebody that I was like, yo, you're a god, dude. You're a god. I remember like when he first made his Instagram, like his second picture on there, he had a triple shark tooth hanging on his wall, and I nagged him for that for years, and he finally sold it to me, and I was like, bro, like, so on my 23rd birthday,
oh my god,
Diego and I go to we went to Pittsburgh up north, and we show up to his house like at 8 in the morning, like 8:30 in the morning, and he was just like, hey guys, what's up, blah blah blah. He was selling me a hat. I was buying a Warriors Heather script. And he was like, hey, do you guys want to see my collection? Bro, Diego and I walked into his room.
On some baby lung stuff?
At the time, I didn't know what I was looking at fully, but I knew it was like crazy. I just remember seeing like I don't even know what he had anymore, but it was like a bunch of shark tooth scripts.
The double Yankee shark
Double Yankee shark tooth, like... And he had like polo hats too, right?
Oh yeah,
like,
so he collects crazy polo shirts. Like,
yeah, and that was also another thing for me. I was like, I was into polo, but I like polo.
Yeah.
Like, and that was like, what the hell? Like, people collect stuff that's not teams. Like, that's when I first saw people collecting hats that weren't just teams.
Okay, like branching out into different
insane.
things. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, this is actually like worth money too. Like, I'm gonna see what's up, and then that just triggered something else. But that trip, like, really was like, oh my god,
an eye opener.
And it wasn't even we weren't there for that long. We were there for like 10, 15 minutes. And he was just like, oh yeah, just look around. And it was like, what the hell? Like,
I didn't even want to touch anything.
Yeah. It was like one of those things where I was like, I don't want to mess anything up because I know it's worth too much. And it was crazy. It was too much for me. I still remember that. It was.
No, that was definitely.
Yeah, it was insane. It was too much.
Bro, have you guys ever ran into like trouble within the community or
just
like
with Jovany?
no, like fakes or scams or something? You know what I mean? Like someone you had to call because I know you called out some people. Not called out some people, but like we had to expose them, bro. You know, you're not trying to get your homie scammed. Like
not in WWVSE.
Or they started doing like these polls. We could tell if they were like fake or real. But I didn't know that people were actually faking hats like that.
They're out there trying to help everybody, whether you're in the group or not. They try to help people because right now, recently, I'm even shocked at it. They're making fake vintage snapbacks.
Damn.
People are actually even getting actual vintage blanks, and they're getting someone to stitch them on there and claiming that they're real. And what they did is basically
they're
put it out there.
They're weeding out the fakes.
And they're letting people know, just be cautious because we don't want somebody paying $200 for a hat and then you getting it and it being a fake. Like I said, I can't knock the hustle on people, kind of like at the flea market, you know, you see bootleg shirts, stuff like that. I can't knock the hustle, but just let the people know that it's a replica let people know that it's not a real item. But when you're trying to lie to somebody and say, hey, this is authentic, cop it. It's like with shoes. It literally goes down with everything. Just don't lie about it and just be legit about everything, because that's the whole good business. I think that's the good business, and that's the whole point of everybody trying to be in a nice and friendly vintage community. Because once those people start coming out, then it just kind of ruins it, because then there's hate. Like, for example, if I got scammed, I don't know, everybody thinks differently, but what if I became somebody that was like, oh, well, then screw vintage. People on here just trying to screw me left and right, and you lose the love for it, you know? You kind of like, and I just want to tell people that, like, I don't want to say that scamming is something that happens, that should happen, but it does happen. And it's happened to me a lot of times. It's, you live and you learn, and like I said, it doesn't mean that it's going to be the last time. And if it hasn't happened to you, you know, like, knock on wood, it never happens. Because it sucks. It's just a shitty feeling.
I bet, dude.
But at the same time, like I said, it's just, as long as you keep a positive mindset and just do your knowledge, do your research. That's exactly why you research, you think about stuff, and just ask. Like I said, don't be afraid to ask. There's people out here that are willing to help out, and, you know, like, just ask us stuff. And if we can help, we will. And if we don't have the answers, we'll try to guide you towards where the answers for you will
Bro,
be,
that's
you
what I
know?
like. That's what I appreciate about your guys' like crew and group and like community, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you guys do help each other. That's sick. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys do look out for each other. I like that. And take this time, you guys. You guys are seeing them right now. I'm putting faces behind their Instagram names. Like, they're legit check Diego. You know, like, so they know. You know what I'm saying? So they know what's real, bro. Yeah. So they know the guys. Like, these guys are legit. Pretty much is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But yeah.
So you just, that's what I was gonna bring up. Tiza, like, growing up, what was like your influence with Tiza? Because for me, before I knew that Taz Arnold like kicked it with Kanye, I just knew the hats. I just knew all the fakes. I just knew the website. I just knew that they were going for like a bunch of money. I just knew that people were throwing like leather on the brims, and it just became like a thing. What was Tiza for you guys? I just liked it because it was different, and I'm a big Kanye fan. And like, learning later on, I just knew that like they were associated together, and that's just cool because it just makes everything I like it closer.
I didn't know much about it. I saw my brother. I put my brother onto it, and he was the one that really started copying Raider hats before me. And he literally, like, when he got over it, this was like 2 years ago, he was still over it for a little minute. He gave me like 10 Raider hats, and one of them was this one. And I was like, dude, what the heck is this? And I always saw Jovany always having some, and I was just like, didn't know much information about it, but I always saw like YG wearing it. Maybe it was like Two Didn't Boot It in his music video, and I always saw him wearing like his hat with the tag on it still, and I was just like, bro, like, what's going on? That's like, these prices are even crazier, like stupid prices. Like, it'd be like a simple hat, and then you slap something on it, and the price just goes up. And like, never really had no clue about it, but I just saw like people were like getting so wet over it, and I was just like, for me, it was just like, it was kind of just handed down to me. So then people started telling me information, and that's when I was like, yo, I need to go cop another one, and I had to go.
Did it ruin the hat for you, or did it make it better?
It didn't really do much to it. I was just like, oh, like, I just still saw it as like, I need that Raiders hat, and then I saw it other people like, damn. So for me, it didn't do no difference. Okay. It was just like, I just learned more information.
Yeah.
But
I feel like for me, it definitely made them like better.
Better for you?
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I have X script. Like, oh shit, now I have T's version.
Yeah.
That really, like, it was cooler for me to have that.
And yeah, and like how I was saying, I'm trying to collect multiple, so it was kind of like, oh, I have this, but I don't have that one. Yeah. So that was for me. I didn't know much about it, but I feel like the man Jovany as a whole.
Shout out Dana.
For real. So, basically, for me, it goes back to that same little phase that I had of rapping. Because the people that I would listen to at the time that were popping were like Big Sean.
Can we play some of Jovany's stuff real quick? Actually, no, not right here.
He's
His
my manager.
Okay, my bad, dude.
No snippets, bro.
I'm just kidding, dude.
So, basically, I would see Big Sean wear him, Chris Brown, all that, Tyga. Ah. Nah, so it was just kind of like, for me, it was like, yo, these rappers that I kind of like their style of rapping and I'm trying to rap their way during that time. They're wearing vintage snapbacks just like me. But what the heck is that Tisa thing on the side? And I just started looking up and I was like, yo, this fool's bumping shoulders with Kanye. This fool's like, what? Same thing. It just all wrapped around and it just all kind of like linked up together and was just like, yo, this is insane. And I ended up, to one point, I had a whole bunch of them, like crazy. And there's actually somebody locally that has them out in San Jose. Dano Vintage is his @ he definitely has, and I mean, people have seen it. His collection's insane. But same thing. A lot of my hats. It's crazy because last time I talked to him, we basically were like showing each other our hats, and it's just like, it's crazy how it's either he owned the hats first or I did, and we just basically sell them back and forth to each other to the point where now I was just like, you know what? I just kept one of them, and just he has the rest, and it was just a cool. It still is cool for me, you know, like it's just this thing where it's just, it ties in my love for vintage hats from the 90s to something that I can actually personally say I had some sort of like personal connection to, with the whole like Tisa branding. And it's just kind of like, yo, my teenage years, like my late teens were listening to Tyga and all that stuff, and snapbacks and tattoos and Wiz Khalifa and Ink My Whole Body. I don't give a motherfucker.
Every tattoo I get, I always listen to that song. That's the first song I play, dude. I swear, it's a tradition, bro. Every tattoo,
Ink My Whole Body,
I have
bro.
to play that song, man.
But yeah, no, so basically, yeah, that's, for me, Tisa
true.
definitely means that much to me in that sense, because it was just kind of something that I was doing the whole rap vintage thing, and it just kind of was like, oh, dang, like, it's all in one hat, you know, it's all in one piece, so.
Right on. Dude, Baby Lungs, I have a question for you, man. Actually, like, with the whole Tisa thing, like, that's the dude's brand, right?
Yes,
Or,
sir.
like, his little, whatever. So I see you have, like, the same hat, like, 20 times over, bro, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought, oh, you said you didn't want to sell them, man, but I was going to say, like, if you ever thought of maybe putting your, bro, maybe a little baby on the side of them, bro, for Baby Lungs or something, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, well, I mean, you're probably notorious in this whole community, bro, you know what I'm saying? So, like,
So I always thought, like, damn, I'm going to get this hat, even if it's dead stock or not, and I'm going to beat the shit out of it. It's going to be on my head, and I'm going to beat the shit out of it. Like, no one else is going to beat the shit out of it because it's my hat. And yeah, but it's... like, I just see myself, like, I don't want anybody else to have it, and I'm like... It's kind of like when kids would get Yeezys and then just start skateboarding in them. Like, that's how I see myself. Like, I'm going to get this hat, and I'm going to, like, just rock the crap out of it. Like, I'm just going to put mad love into it because I know it's not going to go anywhere. But I've seen myself. I've been thinking about, like, making a brand name for myself. But
yeah.
Never really figured out, like, if I want to put, like, Baby Lungs into it because I don't know how far, like...
You're going to carry that name?
Yeah, that name because it's kind of, like, cannabis related and it's just, you know, some people, I feel like some people kind of get some weird vibes off me when I'm like 420 or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
But I've thought about, like, yo, doing something else with these hats, but like never really had the cojones to do it because it's like, damn, I dropped a lot of money on it, but I am beating the crap out of it with my sweat and blood, so it's just like,
bro, I mean, I don't know, I was thinking, bro, like you said, you don't know what you're going to do with those hats, bro, but you have like a crazy collection. Just throwing out there, dude, you should probably, like I said, put a little something in the envelope or something, and when you, hopefully you don't die anytime soon, bro. Or if you want to get rid of them, bro, but think about it, I mean, they're probably worth a lot of money, but, and then you're going to obviously build up your name, dude, you should probably put a little something on it, bro. So, like, dude, yo, that's Baby Lungs fucking hat, he wore that shit, dude. And then you could just leave that for your kids or something, or who knows, man, you know what I'm saying?
It's a thought, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it.
I've thought about it.
Yeah? Yeah, you should, man.
How did the name Baby Lungs come about? But you had different names before Baby Lungs.
Yeah, it was Poppin' Snaps.
Poppin' Snaps.
And then before that, it was just like J. Avila, like my name.
Alright.
Bobby J.
Bobby J.
Oh,
That was
Bobby
my favorite
J,
one.
J,
That was my
Bobby
favorite
J.
one, Bobby J.
So I can take you there.
Alright, yeah, I want to know.
So So when I started thrifting in high school, I saw the movie Superbad, and I saw a kid have McLovin, and I was like, damn, bro, I need a cool name like that. And I always thought Bobby was a cool name.
Yeah.
And then the initials BJ, like BJ, like Bobby J, like dude BJ, like I was just a teenage kid, like BJ's, you know. So I started off like making my account personal, Avila, and then I deleted that, made Bobby J, and I was like, and people in high school were like, to this day, people still call me Bobby J, and I was like, Bobby J, and like, I kind of always gave myself like a name, and it kind of just started picking up, like how you were saying, like put a brand name on it, and I never really saw myself, like, people picking it up on that, but I always saw myself like doing something with that name, so I always kept Bobby J on my bio or BJ, or like when I make shirts sometimes, like draw on them and stuff, and I always put my name, Baby Lungs. But then once I started like, so the Bobby J started in high school, and then once I started really getting into like not collecting and doing other recreational stuff, I was just like, I was always a youngster around, and I was taking fat bowls, and I didn't have the lungs like I do now, and I was like, people, like I was just like, I would be coughing, and like, dude, they tease me. I was like, dude, I got those baby lungs. So I was just like, so that 420 really started doing heavily influence on me, and I was like, I'm baby lungs, bro. Like I'm baby lungs.
I'm baptized.
Yeah, dude.
Baptized,
Hell
you know,
yeah,
like
dude.
I had bigger lungs. Like I was just always like I was just, so I had the hats, and then people knew me like, that kid collects hats, and that kid can take some fat bong rips. So it was just like, so I kept that name Baby Lungs because I always liked the B, and then the Bobby J, the BJ, and I was just kind of always
Playing with it.
Going back and forth.
yeah, because I saw my name as Jose. Like, there's so many guys out there with that name, you know. Like, kind of don't want to like, not that I don't like my name. It's just like I wanted people to like
Know you for something else? Okay.
yeah, like distinguish, make a brand name for myself. It's kind of like I always like kind of look up like Mac Miller because he had snapbacks. He was always wearing snapbacks, but his name was Macklemore. But his like brother's name was Mac or Miller.
Malcolm?
Yeah, Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm.
Malcolm. Okay. Sure.
That's all good, dude. No, but yeah, man, that's sick, dude. That's fucking badass. And
I actually have this question that I wanted to ask both of you.
No.
Out of the hats you guys brought, the hats in your collection, if the world were to end and you couldn't take your hats with you, you could only take one hat on your head. Out of your whole collection, what hat would you take and why?
I only care about this one. This is my baby right here.
that's
And
it.
why?
This is my baby. Why? I don't know. I've always liked the color navy. I've never been into any kind of sports, and I do not care for baseball at all. But I think growing up, I saw a lot of like Nationals and Giants and what else? Like Raiders, like just I don't know. A lot of gang related like hats, whatever I guess you could say. And I never saw one that was just like neutral. One that just like people never cared for. And this one, I just like this one. I mean, New York is. I've never gone, but I always wanted to go, and I just think it's cool. I think my favorite color is blue, navy.
Right on, dude. No, yeah.
Just nothing. There's really no real reason.
It's a nice hat.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it, and that's it. I don't give.
Yeah.
I don't give.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. This is really for you because you have too many. I don't have that many to pick from. You can pick from mine. Nah,
Bro, I wish.
nah.
Bro, I would just take them all, but you know. Dude, for me, honestly, I have so many hats, and it's gotten to a problem where like a lot of them fit so nice, a lot of them just do the job. That's a really hard question. Like,
Just one, bro. Just one if you had to.
it'd probably be that Mickey Mouse one over there.
For real?
From here.
Yeah, dude, I really like that one. Like, it's just like I like how it fits. It was given to me by my brother Diego. It's just like it just means a lot to me, and like a lot of international guys hit me up like, "Yo, how much for this?" And it's just like, I can't. You know, it's gonna stay. It's like a gift for me. Like my brother gave me that. Like it just means a lot more than just a hat. Like it's like a relationship. Like.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel you.
We're homies. We like always trying to help each other out. Like you like something, like you know.
It's nice, bro. It's sick.
It's something I haven't really seen, you know, like, and it takes me back to like one day when I was like thrifting and I found a big logo, Fresno Bulldogs, and how it, like WWVSE, like some guy from the Europe hit me up, big game logo, and he like offered me a good price, and I had no idea about hats, and I still to this day I kind of regret selling it, but it was like he hit me up with a $60 offer, and I could have gotten like $300 off for it, and then to this day I'm just like, damn, but it's just kind of like he didn't lowball me for like $20, he still gave me like, it was just, but it goes to a good home, so it's kind of like how like, and I'm thankful he has it because he's loving that, and it's kind of like the same for that hat, like. I love it, I rock it, and I try to take care of it as much as possible, and it's just like something different. Like these are all Raider hats, they look the same, but like a lot of them I don't wear because I'm afraid to like beat them up. But there is days where when I wasn't collecting, I had a King's dead stock, took the tags off and started wearing them to concerts. You know how that goes, like you wear hats to concert, you're just gonna sweat.
Yeah.
So it's just like that just became one of the hats.
Dang, man. You, Jovany, you got rid of all yours though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no. I just kind of like, for me, it was, I don't know. Like I said, for hats, I just kind of have hats now that I personally like to wear. And I feel like if I had to wear just one hat, it'd probably be this one. The Sox plain logo.
Really? It's not the one on your head?
No. It's just because it's so simple and it's black and white. That's the only reason why it beats the one on my head. Because I feel like anything that I'd wear, this is like the OG, you know, this is like the whole like...
It'll go with everything.
You know, it'd get good with anything, and it's just, like I said, it gives me that 90s rap vibes. It's a hat that's very sought after, and people have actually thrown me pretty high offers for that one. And now, I used to own it. We were actually talking about that. I used to actually own one back in 2014. And a lot of people still think that it's the same hat. But now I actually got this one recently from Anaheim Lost and Found. And like I told him, he gave me a good deal. I'm not going to say how much, but he gave me a really good deal. And I told him, I was like, it's not going anywhere, you know, like it's staying here. And that's probably my go-to hat, you know. That's my...
Dang, man. Hey, well, check this out. I actually have some a couple people hitting me up on Instagram too, dude. They said they're starting to collect hats, man. You know, what would you guys give like advice to any up and comers, bro? Because like he sent me a bunch of videos and like stuff. You know, he's probably gonna be super excited to see this, man. Like
to be real, there's really just do your research, do your Googles, my G. That's it. That's it. Like, just really look into what they're worth. Don't be lowballing. Like, that's, like, one thing. I gotta respect. Just don't lowball people. Just because that's an easy way to be like, nah, I'm not gonna deal with this fool.
Okay.
You know? Like, if you're down to pay a certain price, like, keep your word. Pay the man. You know, don't.
Just keep it simple and straightforward.
Keep it simple. Keep it easy. Be friendly. Don't do anything shady. And that's it. Just, you know, ask. And then don't just hit us up for prices. A hat or for prices. Yeah, you know, like we want to. If you're into hats and I'm into hats, like why can't we have a conversation about like anything else? You know?
Yeah.
Or not anything else, but anything that's related to that. Like,
okay.
That's one thing. Like making it a community thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I would say just upcoming hat collectors, like have that patience, because I see a lot of youngsters just wanting to get it right away, but the fun part is the process.
Yeah, the way. It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yeah, like,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like, because I started off with like nothing, and to this day, like I never thought I would be here, and I'm like how Jovany was saying, like WWVSE, I always looked up to them, but I never thought I could be in their group, because I was always like, it's not what kind of hats you have, and I always thought like, damn, you gotta have the heaters to be in these crazy ass groups, you gotta do this and that, but it's really like, I see kids out there that don't have crazy ass hats, but they're always showing love, like always, like just, yo, that's like always trying to connect with you, and it's not like, let me get this, like let me get that, let me get this, and it's like, they're just like, yo, that's a really cool hat, and I tell them like, yo, just be patient, like you're gonna surpass me one day, like I still see my collection as nothing, like it's nothing crazy, like I tell these kids like, you're gonna have a crazier collection than me one day, like it's that process. Like, just continue that continuously. Like, just keep going at it. Like, and if you're gonna buy a hat, just be prepared to like drop like $100 or something. And but like, it's just like always be showing people love, and like I've learned like the more you give, the more you get.
Yeah.
Okay. What comes around goes around, dude.
Yep.
So for me on that question is the very first thing that I want to tell anybody that's starting to collect what you like.
Yeah.
Don't collect what other people like because it's the cool thing to do. Yes, that doesn't mean that you necessarily don't have to like the stuff they collect. It doesn't mean that you don't have the ability to go for it. Go for it. If you want to go for a crazy girl piece, go for it. But make sure it's something that you like. Don't try to go over something just to take it away from somebody because you know that it's a valuable hat. At the end of the day, a hat's a hat.
Yeah.
You know, regardless what the value of it is, regardless if it's $10, $1,000, whatever price the hat has, at the end of the day, it's just a hat. Just like money comes and goes, materialistic things shouldn't really matter. But the friendships and the relationships that you make along the way is what really matters. Like Diego was saying, don't just. I mean, you can just hit us up and see us as a business and be like, hey, I want this hat. How much? $20? Okay, here. Boom, boom. Thanks. Bye. You can, but at the end of the day, for me, it's just gonna be like it's just something else sold. You know, but kind of seeing something where it turns into like a 7-year friendship where it's like, dude, like this is insane. This started off of a simple hat, you know, like off simple stuff like that. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just the community that's built around it is so amazing. And like I said, just be yourself. And no matter whether you have one hat, no hats, 1,000 hats, stay humble. Stay humble because bridges burn. You live and learn.
Oh my god.
Jeez, man.
Nah, but yeah, just like I said, just I had to, bro.
That's so good.
I was like, why is he calling me?
I know Chelsea's gonna say some badass shit.
Hi, bro.
Oh man. No,
yeah,
yeah.
but like I said, just stay humble, be yourself, and collect what you like to collect. A lot of people can tell Diego, oh, the ankle ones are like whatever, but to him, they mean so much more than what, like, to him, that might, like, one of these hats, like that Yankees one that he showed us, that to him might be worth what that Shield logo is worth to us, the Raiders one. The one
I could care less about all these other hats.
And that hat goes for, like, the last time someone saw it, went up for like $1,000, and it's sold quick.
Jeez.
But like I said, it's just, you can put a price on something, but you have to go after what you like to do, what you like. Whether it's teams, like I said, I go for the Steelers and I don't own a single Steelers hat. And I'm being straight up about that.
I own too many.
And like I said, it's just because I just don't like the yellow on my hats.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like what I like to wear, it's, you know, I go for specific things.
Black and white.
Yeah. And it's just like I said, I've had some hats that fit me amazing that aren't worth anything. Like there's some hats that I wear like an anti-hero mesh hat most of the time, and people are like, bro, that's not vintage, why are you wearing that? It's like, I like the fit on it, bro. Like I like how it fits. Don't do it to try to be better than anybody. Don't do it to try to be like, oh, I'm like top, you know, like if that's something that you have as like inspiration, then go for it, you know, by all means, but do it in a positive way.
Hey man, well everyone, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. You guys, this is a good one. This is a long one. I feel like we really went through a lot of good things, and I learned a lot, dude, from WWVSE, right? Yeah. Right on, man. Yeah, dude. Like I said, it was a good one, man. It's really cool. Almost makes me want to start collecting, dude. Dang, man, listening to you guys, and you guys are all tight, bro. Guide me, man. Pave the way for me, guys. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video, man. If you guys could do me a favor and share this on Instagram or wherever you want. Really mean a lot to me. To us, guys, thank you so much. Jovany, Baby Lungs, Diego, thank you guys so much for coming. Do you guys want to plug anything you guys want to say? Going for you guys or something?
Yeah. All right, well, thank you guys once again for having us. Thank you, Rudy, for putting this together. I'd just like to give a shout out to all the local people, you know, that have helped out, you know, that have always been legit, and they could really use your guys' help with, like, you guys shopping at their stuff. And, shout out Ski Chalet from Santa Cruz. Shout out Nelsie Fines from Salinas. Jacob Strikes Back from Salinas. Stuck in the Past from Salinas. Vintage. Whole bunch of dudes, like El Thrift Boy from Watsonville. Just a whole bunch of people, Initial Thrift. Shout out to both Johns, junior and senior. And Frankie from WWVSE, paving the way as well and doing a lot of good things for the community, helping people out with the whole fakes, reels and stuff like that, and just kind of staying humble throughout all these years. Everybody else that we've mentioned throughout the video, and even those who we haven't mentioned, shout out to all of you guys, and thank you guys for loving vintage as much as we do,
I just want to say thank you to all the heads out there giving me love. It's really nice seeing it pop up by DM, like Mac and Snaps. He's always just showing love to everybody. Like, he's just a nice guy. Shout out Slick 1600, always hustling hard. Shout out All Star Vision. He has some crazy NBA collection. It's just wild, the kids out there, like, just really having. I still don't think my collection's crazy, and there's kids out there with crazier collections and like putting in work. Like, I'm just a little dent in there, and there's kids that are like really just putting in work.
I want to shout out myself. I'm just kidding. Nah, shout out to everyone who's like bought things off us recently, and like long-term buyers, new buyers. We just want to hook you up with whatever we have, with the best of what we have. So if it wasn't for you guys, I don't think we'd still, I don't know, I wouldn't be doing it if people weren't buying it, to be real. Like, that's what just keeps me going. I just get hyped of like people wanting to buy stuff off me and meeting new people off each piece. That's cool. Yeah. Thank you, Rudy, for having us. Obviously.
No, yeah, thank you guys for
appreciate
coming,
it. Thanks for coming around.
Thank you,
I hope
Christian.
your viewers don't get tired of us.
If you want to get into this vintage resale game, like, it's a commitment. Like, it's not like it just comes overnight. You gotta be in it for reals.
Don't scam.
Shout out Indigo. For real though. Shout out Indigo Vintage.
And shout out Depop. Can you please sponsor me? Thank you.
Shout out Brandon and Mike, wherever you are, from the crate.
Oh.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Big shout out to WWVSE. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Later.